Tonight on CTV News, labor standoff.
Within the next week, there'll be a vastly increased impact on the general public.
A warning from striking BC government workers as they ramp up the pressure. The businesses being hit hard. And troubling allegations against former Vancouver Canuck Willie Mitchell. A Tofino woman sues him, alleging he sexually assaulted her.
I think Skytrain would just revolutionize the UBC experience for so many people.
On board for a UBC Skytrain, the renewed push to extend the mega project to campus.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. There is growing frustration tonight among business owners caught in a bitter labor impasse. The BCGEU strike is now in its 5th week and starting to take a toll on those in the booze industry. And as CTV's Rob Buffum reports, the union says the public will really begin to feel the impact of its job action in the next few days.
Striking public service workers brought their message to the legislature Thursday. Chanting outside the NDP caucus meeting room ahead of the start of the fall session beginning next week.
They're exercising their democratic rights, and that is not something that is new in this province.
Like the empty shelves are because they can't reorder.
5 weeks into the strike, it's hitting certain sectors especially hard.
It has cut off our business completely.
With pickets outside government liquor stores along with the liquor distribution branch warehouse, businesses relying on alcohol are being hurt. In particular, wine importers whose product comes in and out of the warehouse are being hammered.
We cannot generate even a cent of sales since last week. So what's effectively happening is we are bleeding money without any ability to generate revenue.
This private liquor store has benefited from an overflow of customers from many closed government stores, but it too now is starting to feel the pinch with a lack of supply of certain products. The union's latest demand is an 8% raise over 2 years. The government has offered a total of 5%. The BCGEU escalated strike action Thursday with 1,200 more picketers. It says more disruption is likely coming in a big way.
Within the next week, there'll be a vastly increased impact on the general public. Unfortunately, that's unavoidable. Government failed to come back with a reasonable deal.
Public service workers plan to return to the lawns of the legislature Monday to amplify their message to the politicians returning to work there.
Rob joins us live from Victoria. Rob, as you mentioned, the legislature resumes sitting on Monday. What are we expecting this fall session?
Well, it's going to be a busy session, Mijung. We heard from the House Leader Mike Farnworth today that the NDP plan to introduce 18 separate bills, and they plan to table almost all of those next week. So it's going to be a very busy time starting on Monday. The topics covered on that will range from things like protecting healthcare, the economy, energy, and also likely public safety. So a lot of legislation being introduced at the same time as we expect to see likely hundreds, if not more, government workers protesting outside the building here. Mijung.
Thank you, Rob. It was an emotional day in court for the family of a 15-year-old boy killed in a gangland shooting. Alfred Wong's mother testified about the night her son was shot in the back seat of the family's car. The accused killer is standing trial for a second time. As CTV's Ben Nesbitt reports, the jury was shown dash cam video of that horrible night. And a warning, some may find the video disturbing.
With tears in her eyes and a victim's support dog at her side, the mother of Alfred Wong was forced to relive the events of January 13th, 2018. The family was on their way home from dinner when out of nowhere, tragedy unfolded. The vehicle's dash cam captured their journey along Broadway. Chi Chan testified they were having a casual conversation about their next family dinner before gunfire erupted. Jurors heard the entirety of the disturbing video, including Wong's screams of pain as his mother pulled the car over. I could see the pain in his eyes. He looked at me. That was the last time we saw each other alive, said Chan, who had to leave the courtroom to compose herself after the footage was played. Wong was rushed to hospital and underwent multiple surgeries, but died a few days later.
Kane Carter is charged with the second-degree murders of both Wong and Kevin Whiteside. Police believe Whiteside opened fire that night, intending to kill a rival gang member who was dining at Indochine restaurant.
Carter stood trial for these charges last year, but it ended in a mistrial. The judge told the jury not to speculate as to why. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
A high-profile sport fishing tournament involving former Vancouver Canuck Willie Mitchell was abruptly canceled shortly after it started. Now, 3 years later, a lawsuit accusing Mitchell of sexual assault that same weekend has landed in BC Supreme Court. The story just ahead. But first, here's a live shot of Grouse Mountain. You can see a bit hazy, but Anne, I do think I see some sun over in the distance.
Yes, and you're absolutely correct. We started off wet this morning, but as promised, the sun is peeking through. We are seeing a little bit of a mix out there. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland. 15 at the harbor, as well as in Burnaby, a touch warmer in Surrey at 17 degrees in Chilliwack, and you're looking at 18 degrees right now in Abbotsford. So as we head through the overnight, we will see a few clouds dropping down to 10. Tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, increasing cloud coverage through the afternoon with some sunny breaks in there and a high of 16.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And it looks like the wet weather is behind us. It clears up quite nicely as we head into the weekend. I've got your full forecast coming up.
Yeah, and we'll hang on to those temperatures in the teens as long as possible.
Exactly.
Right? All right, thanks, Anne. A woman has filed a lawsuit against former NHL player Willie Mitchell, alleging he sexually assaulted her at his Vancouver Island home 3 years ago. But no criminal charges have been laid. CTV's Ben Milger has an update on a story that began 3 years ago. A warning, some of the details are graphic.
This lawsuit, filed in BC Supreme Court, contains disturbing allegations against Stanley Cup champion Willie Mitchell, alleging he sexually assaulted a female staff member while working as the general manager of a Tofino resort. The plaintiff, identified only by her initials, claims she worked as a server at Tofino Resort and Marina, which Mitchell co-owned and managed. The suit alleges Mitchell drove the woman to his home the night of September 11th, 2022, while she was highly intoxicated. And without her express or implied consent, Mitchell engaged in unprotected sexual activity with the plaintiff. According to the statement of claim, the woman reported the incident to police the next day and also went to the hospital for a forensic examination. As CTV News reported at the time, a week-long fishing derby underway at the resort with more than $150,000 in prize money was abruptly canceled. Staff walked out, and a post about the sudden closure on the resort's website referred to highly inappropriate behavior and a new interim manager. According to the BC Prosecution Service, RCMP submitted a report to Crown for consideration of charges, but the charge assessment was not met.
It's easier for a complainant to prove the case in civil court on a balance of probabilities than it would be for the state to prove the case in criminal court beyond a reasonable doubt.
The suit also names the resort itself and numbered companies connected to Mitchell and his former partners in the business. CTV News has been unable to contact Mitchell or any of the other people associated to the numbered companies named in the suit. None of the allegations have been tested in court. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Charges have been laid in connection with an alleged theft and sexual assault in Surrey this summer. 42-year-old Kulwinder man has been charged with assault, sexual assault, and theft under $5,000. The charges stem from two incidents that took place around 3 a.m. on August 26. Police say a man was walking on King George Boulevard near Fraser Highway when he was approached by a stranger who stole his cell phone. A short time later, a woman in the same area was approached by a man who allegedly shoved her into a bush and sexually assaulted her. There are renewed calls on the feds and province to commit to extending the Skytrain to the UBC Point Grey campus. Students say the need for rapid transit is now as they deal with lengthy commute times and crowded buses. CTV's Isabella Zavarisi has more.
60,000 students, faculty and staff commute to UBC campus daily. They come from across Metro Vancouver. Some spend hours riding the bus.
I think Skytrain would just revolutionize the UBC experience for so many people.
More than 15,000 are on board, signing a petition by third-year student Solomon E. Kieran to extend the Skytrain to the university.
I would make sure that all of Vancouver basically is within 45 minutes commute.
As of now, the Millennium Line extension, currently under construction, will stop at Broadway and Arbutus, forcing transit riders back on the bus to get to UBC.
It's just kind of kicking the can down the road. It's not actually a solution that's going to fix the problem of congestion, of overcrowding on buses.
The province and feds have made promises in the past to fund the line, but nothing has come to fruition.
Because after 17 years of inaction, we don't want that attention to go away. We want to make sure the government sees these demands and actually starts to act on them.
E. Kieran is hoping backing from Vancouver City Council may get the ball rolling again.
Luckily, there's something we can do about it.
City Councillor Lucy Maloney.
Councillors Sean Orr and Lucy Maloney are tabling a joint motion Wednesday asking higher levels of government to prioritize this. They believe the motion will pass.
When you're an advocate for something important, you can't just ask one time, then shrug your shoulders and give up. I know from my road safety advocacy that you have to ask again and again in different ways.
We think it's something that the province wants and the federal government wants in the end. It's just a matter of kind of keeping up that pressure.
E. Kieran won't back down, meeting with the Premier tomorrow and heading to the legislature next month to make the case for accessible rapid transit. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
A frightening scene for some Skytrain passengers this morning. A man with a knife on board a train triggered a police response. CTV's Dimitra Maragos has the details.
It wasn't a smooth commute this morning for Skytrain riders here at the Metrotown Skytrain station in Burnaby. Transit police confirmed that around 8:30 this morning, they received a text that a passenger was asleep on the Skytrain with an open knife. Our cameras caught a transit officer getting out of his SUV on Central Avenue, where he drove at a high speed into oncoming traffic. You can see him here pulling out an Arwin gun from the back of his vehicle and sprint to the deck of the Skytrain. Our crews followed him. Transit police told CTV News the officer had followed the train in his car from New Westminster to the Metrotown stop. Once on the platform, our team saw a handful of officers clear the train full of passengers on their morning commute. You can see them here searching for the man with the knife. However, they were not able to find him. No injuries were reported related to this incident. Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Burnaby.
Home prices have dropped again as the real estate market is stuck in the doldrums. Also ahead.
I really don't like it. I find it messes up my sleep.
A Liberal MP says it's time to stop changing our clocks. The political push reviving the debate when CTV News continues. Stay with us. Now to the latest in a CTV News investigation. Calls for a coroner's inquest into the police shooting of 15-year-old Chase de Ballenhard, who had autism, are growing louder. His family, their MLA, and the Premier have all weighed in over the past 24 hours. But there's still no clear commitment from the province. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa reports.
We are just in limbo, and I just want this nightmare to end.
Crystal de Ballenhard is desperate for answers nearly 8 months after her son was shot and killed by RCMP in Surrey.
The only information that we've found out is through CTV News and yourself. Otherwise, we've been left in the dark.
The teen, who functioned developmentally like a 10-year-old, was carrying an unloaded pellet gun during what police called an extensive 40-minute interaction. BC's police watchdog says it has no updates. This case has already stretched 4 times longer than its average file.
IIO investigations can go on for years, and we just want to know what happened to Chase. We don't want this dragged out for years.
Her concerns only grew after hearing from the Premier this week.
The Independent Investigation Office is continuing their investigation of what happened, and a coroner's inquest can't start until that is completed. In the meantime, Nina, the Public Safety Minister, and her team are working on the family's request. They take it very seriously, as do I.
But Surrey Cloverdale MLA Eleanor Sturko says there is precedent for an inquest to be called even before other investigations are done.
There have been other high-profile cases, which I myself have even advocated for, where the Premier has called for a coroner's inquest even before court proceedings have taken place. I do not understand in this case why the Premier is actually being so heartless as to deny the family this opportunity to learn more facts about what happened with their son Chase.
She says an inquest could restore public trust and prevent another tragedy.
An inquiry where it is not an assignment of blame, but a fact-finding opportunity to look at the total circumstances and make recommendations that could result in positive change actually can also help police.
For the de Balinhard family, the hope is simple: answers and change before another family lives this nightmare.
I just don't want his story to end in a hail of bullets. It can be about change and growth and education, and something good will come out of this.
She says real accountability will only come when the government commits to answers and ensures changes are made to prevent another tragedy.
Love you. Bye.
Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Surrey.
It's a buyer's market out there as both Metro Vancouver and Fraser Valley realtors reported a drop in housing prices in September. For the sixth straight month, home prices in the Fraser Valley were on the decline. The typical home sold for around $926,000, a 1% decrease from August and a 5.4% decrease year over year. In Metro Vancouver, the benchmark price for all residential properties is currently $1,142,000. That is a 0.7% drop from August and a 3.2% decrease from September last year. Most Canadians will make the switch from daylight saving to standard time early next month. But one Liberal MP is the latest to call for an end to the ritual of springing forward and falling back. She plans to table a private member's bill next week to end the time change. CTV's Martin McMahon has the story.
The time has come to address time change.
Twice a year, we change our clocks. In a month, we'll roll back an hour to standard time before jumping forward again in the spring. But Liberal MP Marie-France Lalonde is set to put forward a private member's bill. She wants a pan-Canadian conference to decide on a set time that we'd stick to year-round.
It is proven to negatively impact our public safety. Actually, we know that there's more road accidents, including pedestrians getting hit by cars, happen when the time changes.
Experts have long warned about the negative consequences of the time changes.
And this is also a question of health equity, because research tells us that some groups of the population are more affected than others. For example, children, teenagers, seniors, and people with chronic illnesses.
The BC Chamber of Commerce has been advocating for this approach for some time.
There is costs for small businesses to, be changing whether it's computer systems or point of sale systems. Many of that's done automatically. I know now, but there are some costs, but there's also personal costs, just in terms of our own bodies and energy, and that also contributes to safety.
People on the streets of Vancouver seem to like the idea.
I would prefer not to fall back in the fall and have an hour more daylight.
I really don't like it. I find it messes up my sleep, and it takes days to kind of get adjusted.
I think it's a good idea to get rid of the daylight savings time. It causes a lot more problems and a lot of shock to people when they set back the clocks.
In 2019, BC passed legislation to switch to permanent daylight time. However, the change would happen only if and when Washington State, Oregon, and California do the same. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Delays at YVR and other Canadian airports caused by a problem with the customs kiosks. And it's not the first time this week. Also ahead.
My message to her is go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
Growing opposition among BC First Nations to Alberta's pitch for a new oil pipeline to the West Coast. That's ahead. The first weekend of October has arrived, and many of the events taking place across Metro Vancouver this weekend are already Halloween themed. But not all of them. We've got a full list of spooky and not too spooky things to check out on our website, ctvnewsvancouver.ca. The latest big pipeline proposal out of Alberta is being called a non-starter by many BC First Nations. Just one day after a push to jumpstart a new bitumen pipeline to the coast, the opposition is already mounting, making an already tough project look even harder. CTV's Tim Brooke has the details.
While she pushes to build a pipeline through northern BC, some First Nations leaders have a message for Alberta's premier.
My message to her is go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
Some Indigenous groups along potential pipeline routes plan to fight the Alberta government project.
The so-called consultation declaration on the part of Premier Smith is bogus. Our groups are already beginning to mobilize for the battle.
The Union of British Columbia Indian Chiefs, which represents 135 First Nations, is against the idea. So too is a group of coastal nations, including one that stretches to Prince Rupert's, one of the potential pipeline destinations.
I work collaboratively with our hereditary chiefs who are the title holders, and our mandate from the title holders is that there will be no crude oil pipeline within our territory.
I think once people understand what's in front of them, what the opportunities are, especially the opportunity of lifting themselves and their quality of life to a better quality of life than they've ever had before, I think people will think about things a little differently.
Alberta is also calling for the West Coast tanker ban to be lifted, insisting transport of oil is much safer now than it was just a few years ago. And while there are clear challenges, there is some support in BC.
We're for responsible development of our natural resources. We know it can be done safely. We know it can be done with environmental protection.
And the CEO of one of the Alberta companies supporting the proposal says the majority of Canadians will benefit from another pipeline to the West Coast.
Not everybody is going to be 100% on side with all these projects, regardless of what project is. That's just not the way of any modern society. I mean, some people will like them, some people won't.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
A baby in Alberta has died from complications due to measles. Officials say the baby was born prematurely after its mother contracted measles during pregnancy. The update comes as there are now more than 1,900 cases of measles in Alberta, with 153 people currently in hospital. In BC, there have been 284 cases so far this year. This is the second death related to measles in the country in 2025. There were delays at YVR and many airports across the country today due to an outage affecting customs inspection kiosks. This is the second time the kiosks have been down in the past 5 days. These are the machines that verify your identity and allow you to declare your travel information when you return from an international destination. The CBSA says the outage was resolved after about 3 hours and that security standards were upheld at all times.
I went through the whole process, but then slip came out that says incomplete. So I had to stand in the line to fill up the form and come out.
When I got there, they said that the photo capture was down. So the slip that you normally get, it didn't have our picture on it. But honestly, it was very quick. I got through security and customs very easily.
The CBSA says today's outage was linked to the big one on Sunday, which was caused by an unforeseen technical problem and not a cyber attack. A warning about the fallout from the Canada Post strike. How many small businesses will give up on using the national service?
We want to be able to give him a way to experience the world in a different dimension.
Major steps. A boy walks for the first time with the help of robotic legs. The major hurdle now, the cost of the technology. That's ahead.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Vancouver police are asking the public to keep an eye out for 26-year-old Cavell Jeff, who has not been seen since Tuesday morning. She was last seen near Tecumseh Park in the Victoria Fraserview neighborhood, wearing black sweats and slippers. Anyone who sees her is asked to call 911 immediately. Police in Burnaby are asking the public to keep an eye out for a missing 11-year-old boy. Last Friday, Mounties say they received a request for a well-being check for Kai Pavlovich. They say they spoke to Kai's family and have reason to believe he may be staying with a caregiver who is unknown to police. Kai's whereabouts have still not been confirmed, and police say they are working around the clock to find him.
Today we are looking to see who Kai is with and to appeal to the public to take a really good look at his picture, and to the caregiver, if they are watching today, to just come forward to us so we can just have a look at Kai and make sure he's okay.
Police say this case does not meet the criteria for an Amber Alert, which are activated when an abduction has been confirmed and there is believed to be imminent danger to the child. The City of Vancouver showed off some major infrastructure upgrades today that they say will improve sustainability and livability for residents.
It's about families having peace of mind that their water is safe. It's about seniors, and for that matter, everyone who crosses the street, they can do it with confidence. And it's about kids biking to school safely.
$30 million was spent on the project in the Dunbar, Southlands, and Arbutus Ridge neighborhoods. Updates include replacing aging sewer and drinking water pipes along West King Edward Avenue. New green rainwater infrastructure was planted to prevent flooding and protect waterways from pollutants. And new safety features were also added to streets and intersections, including reconstructed curb ramps and medians. An 8-year-old boy living with cerebral palsy was given the opportunity to walk on his own for the first time last week using robotic legs. His mother says the experience was transformative but expensive and is now looking for a way to purchase the technology. CTV's Brendan Strain has the story.
Elliot Burns had a challenging start to life, born premature at 32 weeks, fighting for his life.
We knew from the get-go that potentially he would have disabilities. We didn't really know what it would be and what it would display like.
Soon it became clear to doctors what Elliot was up against.
He ended up having cerebral palsy, and he's quadriplegic. He can move willingly, but it's complicated for him.
Elliot's mother, Genevieve Perron, says her son's a fighter and never let his disability hold him back. Now at the age of 8, Elliot is wheelchair bound.
He has to do walk-in exercises every day in a traditional walker that's cumbersome and difficult.
Any kid with a motor impairment issue we can usually work with.
Mark Robert is with the Ontario-based company Trucks Robotics, which produces smart robotic legs that attach to a walker.
The beauty of it is it tracks how much effort that the child is putting into the step and then alter the settings on the machine based off of the readout that we're getting.
It's expensive, coming in at around $50,000. Last week, the company came to Victoria, allowing families to try out the device.
Knowing that this was a very expensive device that I have no means to provide for him, but I wanted to give it the experience and give it a try.
What Elliot experienced was nothing short of transformative.
Wow, that was a revelation. His smile.
Elliot's demeanor changed.
He's normally very hunched down. He sort of raised up. His little hands were very soft, which means that his muscles were not contracted.
And for the very first time, Genevieve was able to walk hand in hand with her son.
It really made me tear up.
Afterwards, Genevieve shared the family's experience online, knowing that was most likely the last time Elliot would get a chance to use the robotic device. Then her friends pitched her an idea.
Why don't we try to do this together? Why don't we fundraise?
Now Genevieve has embarked on that fundraising effort through supportnow.org. The website operates like a GoFundMe, although it was developed for families with kids with special needs issues. It will allow 100% of donations to go directly to the cause.
I want to be able to give him a way to experience the world in a different dimension. There's nothing in the world I wouldn't give for that.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Victoria.
After several tough years, many Okanagan farmers Farmers are saying this growing season has been the best in decades, even record-breaking for some crops. The BC Fruit Growers Association is touting this season as the largest cherry crop in the province's history. Fruit farmers say the bumper crop is a stress response from the trees after very few cherries were produced last year after a deep freeze. A thrill for Tri-Cities residents who spotted a mother bear and her 3 cubs playing what they captured on camera ahead. And as the world remembers, conservationist Jane Goodall, a Vancouver Island man, shares his unique connection with the trailblazing scientist. That's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down $1.30, closing the day at $60.48 a barrel. Gold lost more than $29 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both ended the day higher, up 52 points and 78 points, respectively. A dire warning today for Canada Post. The Federation of Independent Business says the agency risks losing nearly 2/3 of its small business customers if the workers' strike continues. The CFIB says last year's strike cost small businesses more than $1 billion, and 13% of those surveyed have stopped using Canada Post since the disruption. The organization says nearly 2/3 of respondents said they'd also switch shipping providers if another strike happened. The latest job action was launched after the federal government announced a major overhaul of Canada Post to address its troubled finances. Onlookers were treated to quite the sight today as a family of black bears explored a park in the Tri-Cities. A viewer sending us this video of a mama bear and 3 cubs playing around this morning, even climbing a tree before heading down to a creek. The furry family delighting spectators and serving as a reminder of the wild neighbors we share our backyard with.
Wow, that's amazing.
Very cute. That would be nice to spot that. I guess they're having some fun before they think about hibernation.
Yeah, take their big nap. Getting out there because, yeah, things did dry up quite nicely. Slowly clearing up now as well. Here's a look at our satellite radar imagery. The low that we saw that brought in all the wet weather slowly fizzling out, moving towards south of the border. Another system bringing in wet weather towards the north coast and sliding down towards the central coast. As you can see on our weather tracker, by tomorrow morning for your early morning commute, Haida Gwaii as well as the central coast will see some rain slowly moving down towards the northern tip of Vancouver Island before it eases off. For us along the south coast, we're seeing clear conditions right now through the overnight into tomorrow morning for your early morning commute, but then the clouds return and we'll see mostly cloudy skies pretty much throughout the day with a line of showers moving its way in tomorrow night, but it'll be a few sprinkles, nothing really that will accumulate whatsoever. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for the southern interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Showers as mentioned for Port Hardy through the afternoon with a high of 13 degrees. It'll stay dry for Campbell River and Comox, mostly cloudy skies, sunny breaks, and 16 degrees. Overcast conditions for Tofino at 15. You'll see mostly cloudy skies as well from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. Temperatures between 16 and 17 degrees. Sunny breaks for the Sunshine Coast. Cooler up the Sea to Sky Highway, Squamish. You'll see mostly cloudy skies and 12 degrees. A few scattered showers to start off the day for Whistler at 14. And for us across the lower mainland, increasing cloud coverage, temperatures between 16 and 18 degrees. Heading into Saturday, we will see a few sunny breaks in 16, and then it clears up nicely. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you're looking at blue skies and sunshine, temperatures between 17 and 18 degrees. A few showers roll back in Wednesday afternoon after a dry start, and then on Thursday, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 17. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So yeah, we're looking at temperatures in the high teens with sunshine as we head into the weekend, so not too bad at all, and definitely happy for the rain that is now behind us.
But a pretty good forecast for the fall if you've got like 2 or 3 days of sunshine.
Oh,
like
yeah, definitely. A lot of people calling in sick, I think.
Never.
No, not us.
All right, thanks, Anne. A Nanaimo man is sharing his personal story about a letter he received from renowned researcher Jane Goodall after she took an interest in his work educating people about wolves. CTV's Andy Garland reports.
I've always loved wolves. I read Jack London as a child and began my fascination with Canadian wildlife.
For 9 years, Gary Allen of Nanaimo has kept this handwritten letter from Dr. Jane Goodall close to him.
The one word that I could use that I think really captivates her personality is graciousness.
I personally have a real love for wolves.
Allen saw Dr. Goodall featured in this documentary, Medicine of the Wolf. He reached out to her through the Jane Goodall Institute of Canada, and that's when he received this handwritten letter back.
She connects, with somebody, such as myself, and she connects with, with world leaders. The world yesterday lost a tremendous human being. Really, really sad about that.
The renowned conservationist admired the work Allen was doing in educating school children around the province about wolf conservation with his wolf dog, Tundra, and got to meet the two while she was in Kelowna for a speaking engagement in 2017.
She's 83 at this age, and she's on the floor playing with Tundra, moving around with the mobility of like a 6-year-old child.
Dr. Goodall would later blog about that visit to Kelowna, saying meeting Tundra was the highlight of the trip.
She said, when I looked into Tundra's eyes, she gave me such great strength.
And when Tundra passed away a few years ago, Allen reached out to Dr. Goodall once again. And once again, she responded, expressing her condolences.
I really hope that, we can continue her legacy, that she is so demonstrated to so many people around the world.
Grieving the loss of Dr. Goodall, Allen will take her inspiration of conservation and continue educating our future about an animal that was so dear to her heart. Andy Garland, CTV News, Nanaimo.
Swifties won't have to wait until midnight for Taylor Swift's next era. Her new album, The Life of a Showgirl, will drop at 9 o'clock our time. It will be Swift's 12th studio album featuring 12 tracks, including The Fate of Ophelia and Father Figure. The pop star is marking the debut tomorrow with a special release party in movie theaters across the globe. Audiences will get to see the world premiere of the album's lead single and behind-the-scenes footage of how it came together. Swift says dancing at the screenings is optional but encouraged. Still ahead tonight, our first look at the match ball that will be used at next year's World Cup. Plus, puzzling Professor Adam finds out how a dean at UBC with a colorful collection of shirts discovered a passion for creating puzzles. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
With the rising cost of living, maybe it's time to ask for a raise. Friday on Your Morning Vancouver, the reasons why some employees are reluctant to ask for a salary boost and which professions are most likely to get one. And it's a pivotal game this weekend for the BC Lions as they vie for position in the West. We'll sit down with former coach and CFL Hall of Famer Wally Brono. We'll see you in the morning.
FIFA and Adidas have just unveiled the official match ball for next year's World Cup. Trionda, which means 3 waves, will feature vibrant colors and symbols representing the 3 host nations. You'll be able to buy your own official match ball beginning tomorrow. And the winner is Vancouver, the Whitecaps, that is. The Caps have claimed victory in the Canadian Championship in a unique all-Vancouver final.
Ahmed drags it into the open space and fires in the opening goal.
That was the first of 4 goals the Whitecaps scored on their way to victory, including a late marker from Ryan Gold and his first game back from injury. A professional climber from Slovenia has made history in a really wild way. Okay, he is the first person to successfully complete a climbing route while flying. He pulled it off at 2,500 feet on a glider with a specially constructed route under its wings. Not surprisingly, he said it was harder than he thought it would be.
You think?
We could have told him that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what things people will do.
Some people are just addicted to adrenaline. I am not one of them.
No, don't need it.
Yeah, okay, well, it's not too early to start thinking about Christmas, especially you, Anne, right? You start very early, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm done, but I'm just saying I've thought about it.
October. You've probably done more than she's willing to admit. Okay, check out this curiosity from
Over
Casio.
time, it can grow a bond with its owner based on the way that you interact with it. It will elicit unique responses so that after 50 days of maturation, it becomes unique to its owner.
Mifflin is a new companion designed to behave less like a toy and more like a small pet. It responds with noises, head movements, and posture changes using a microphone and light and touch sensors. Officials say it's not designed as a pet replacement, but a new innovation in therapeutic and social robotics. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Why don't they make it look more like a pet instead of a blob?
Well, I think it's maybe meant for seniors. They're losing their eyesight anyways. So.
Give it a face, okay? Okay, Lauren, what's coming up tonight?
Mijang Kokolam, RCMP are investigating reports of a series of suspicious fires all happening in the last few days, all in one specific neighborhood. We'll have more on what police are warning. And goodbye, Grand Fondo. After 14 years, the popular cycling event is being pulled from Penticton. What the organization and the city are saying about why and what could be next.
And of course, there was that death at the Penticton Fondo. All right, thanks, Lauren. Finally, Adam finds out how a UBC chemistry professor's puzzling hobby is being recognized by the New York Times and why his crosswords are adding up to something pretty remarkable on tonight's Sawatsky Sign-Off.
This is not a story about realizing a childhood dream, because back then, Mark McLaughlin was unaware of a crucial reality.
I'd never even heard of the New York Times when I was a kid.
Instead, Mark would regularly borrow his mom's magazines to complete the printed puzzles before learning how to effortlessly solve a Rubik's Cube.
Everybody would bring their cubes to me at school, and I would solve their cubes.
While he would grow up to become an award-winning chemistry professor, dean of science at UBC, and prolific Aloha shirt wearer,
I feel like they brighten the day for everybody else in the room.
It wasn't until Mark was pursuing his postgraduate work at MIT in the late 90s that he discovered the pleasure of completing a crossword.
I just completely forget about work and that I have another life and immerse myself in the puzzle.
Until one day, Mark wondered, who actually makes the crosswords?
Found out that anyone can submit a puzzle to the New York Times.
So, Mark taught himself how to design crosswords by hand, which can take between 30 to 80 hours, and started submitting them.
And promptly got it rejected and tried over and over.
But Mark persevered until he finally got his first puzzle published in the Los Angeles Times.
It was amazing. Yeah, super cool to finally get one accepted.
Since then, Mark has upgraded to using a computer to make more than 75 puzzles.
And I like trying to come up with new, clever themes that other people haven't thought about before.
While having a complex puzzle published can earn more than $2,200, Mark says seeing his work printed in the prestigious New York Times Weekend Edition is priceless.
And Sunday New York Times has felt the best.
Bigger than anything else in your career?
I think so.
While the puzzle-loving boy he once was never knew to dream this big,
I never imagined I'd be doing this as a hobby.
The professor he now is hopes his puzzling pastime, like teaching in Aloha shirts or riding with dinosaurs, proves to be both educational and entertaining.
I hope that people enjoy it and learn something new.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
I didn't know you could make $2,200.
Now you can.
Let's work on a crossword puzzle, a little side hustle.
Oh, it's going to take us so long, so it won't be worth it. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Look at this foggy view above the Coquihalla Summit. Thanks, Peter, for sending this gorgeous shot in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
at least we will see some blue sky, right?
Oh, definitely.
All right, thanks. And Lauren's back at 11:30. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.